not only talk, but engage you in some drama in education. I'll share a presentation, but I'd be very happy if you have the chance to switch your cameras on and join us live, then that would be great, because we're going to explore something together. And for that, it would be really nice to see you as well. So I'm just checking if you can see the presentation. And I've put it into presentation mode. Can you see that, or can you still
Not
see
yet.
this?
It's still on the other.
Okay, okay.
You can make it bigger
I will.
if you want.
What I will do is, no. What I will do is great. Stop sharing, and I've got a way of doing this now. It should work fine. So there you can see the method, my name, Inside Drama, and the beautiful logo for academia. I would like to start with this this split image. Here you can see two gentlemen, and I'm really curious what you think. What's the similarity between this young man playing with a car and this bit older man playing with a skull? What's the similarity and what's the difference between the two of them?
Curiosity is the similarity.
Sorry?
Curiosity.
Oh, curiosity. Say more, Vera. What do you mean?
Well, when kids play that way, they explore. And because they only see the cars this way, you know, they're so small. So that's why they're leaning down. And as far as the other guy goes, I don't know that he usually puts his hand into a skull, so I bet it's exploring as well.
Ah, yes. Well, it's actually it's Benedict Cumberbatch. Some of you might know him from different play. I think he's playing Hamlet here, and I'm not sure whether you mean, is he curious or is Hamlet curious? Which one?
Since I didn't know they wore that kind of clothes back in the days, for the Hamlet part, like it looked to me like he's exploring what's that, like going into it or something.
What's death?
A skull, actually. A skull. Yeah. What is it? Yeah, what is it?
Yeah. Any other thoughts on that? What's the difference and what's the similarity between these two guys?
Maybe the act of exploring and play.
Play more?
They're just two people that are, their similarities is that they're playing, and it's just putting shedding a light on the importance of play and curiosity and what are the results that one gets from that, how the mind grows, and you're aware of your surroundings and how you build a story, the imagination.
So they're both engaging in imaginative play, using their imaginations. And this is, sorry, go on.
But the fact that they both have like a starting point, it's just not being just imaginary. They're both kind of like holding something, and that is the beginning of the imagination, and that is very explorative. It can go, it's very multi-layered, it's very multifaceted.
That's so interesting, isn't it? That it actually something tangible, an object, can really. The imagination is so ungraspable. You know, it's such a complex thing, but actually something that you can grasp really lets it free. Okay, thank you. That was really useful contribution. What do you think the differences between the two of them or their play? Go on, Corina.
Hi, Adam. I think that the state of their minds are totally different, because the little boy is very relaxed and enjoying his play, but Hamlet is very furious, very stressed, because he begins to understand about the death of his father and the conspiracy that that led to his father's death, and he wants to reveal his father opponents and to take revenge. So that's why he realizes that he's in a terrible situation, and he is in a dilemma, put in words like to be or not to be.
Hmm. But that's Hamlet. What about Benedict, my
No.
friend? Is he stressed as well? Or is he relaxed like the little boy whose name I don't know? It's a stock
Sorry,
photo.
the question?
So is Benedict, the actor playing Hamlet, is he stressed as well? Or is he relaxed? I understand what you say about
I
Hamlet.
guess
was very
if
good.
he's playing Hamlet, he must be in the situation that Hamlet was in the play.
Oh, is he? Or is he stressed about, can I remember the lines this, William
You mean
Shakespeare
in
wrote?
the exact photo now?
Well, we of course don't know, so we are just using our imaginations. But I'm trying to focus on the two types of sort of role playing. Both are role playing, of course, in a way, but they have a lot of similarities, but they're also quite different. One is theater, and one is what we call dramatic role play. And what's the difference between them? And one of them you said was the child's play is very relaxed, and the actor's play is quite tense in a way.
But also maybe the grown-up is more structured. His play is more structured. It's not as lucid as the child.
And the child's play is quite free, or quite lucid, you use the term. So that's really structured. The director told him what to do. And he also, knows that next I'll do this. It's not an improvisation. It's a play written a few hundred years ago.
Mhm.
The critics also know it all. So he's got to really do what's prescribed, but do it in a specific way. The child's play is actually really free, really lucid.
Yeah, but I mean, at the end of the day, they're both equally as exploratory, I feel, because I mean, the actor has to be able to explore the character that he needs to play and do like the work and the research. But the child is doing that through his form of playing. He's doing his research and collecting
Yeah.
and allowing himself to
And
envision something that he mirrored or saw somewhere and make that come to life.
very much so, very much so. But I can tell you, I also work in theater with actors, and I myself act. And sometimes it's really interesting that you actually understand, or you do the exploration by being in role as an actor as well. So after you rehearse it, you say, this can't be like that. I can't say this, or I can say this. I need to move here. Not just for the effect, but also because that seems more truthful. Ifigenia wanted to say something. Her hands up.
Just to add that we have awareness of playing and not having awareness. The child is not having awareness of playing. It's not having awareness, perhaps, of being, of existing. He doesn't think about that, what he's doing at this moment. The other one is aware that he is playing first as an actor, and second, he has the awareness of life and death, etc. So
Okay, that's
play
interesting.
is not drama play. Just playing and then drama playing. It's other type of awareness.
That's great. I mean, I'm sure it's very interesting how aware or unaware they are, how conscious they are of playing, how deliberate, if I get into a fight as a child, then do I deliberately play about fight? Or if a relative dies, do I play about death consciously or unconsciously? But it's there to explore, as someone was saying before, and that's very interesting. And I think Sheve, I don't know if I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Sorry.
Chai Wei.
Chaive. it was talking about, I think, am I wrong to say you were also talking about control?
Yeah.
The child has their control over the play, while maybe Benedict hasn't got a full control because a lot of it is predetermined.
Right.
Very, very interesting. Great. Of course, both of them are engagement, and both of them are exploration through being in a fictional situation. And some drama in education is somewhere in between these two types of plays. Both in all these aspects that you were talking about, also in consciousness, also in control, also in engagement, but very much so through this aspect of trying to explore something through playing, being in a fictional situation. So that's quite common. Of course, there is something, Benedict, the actor, he's doing it for others, while the child is doing it for themselves. And that's, I think, also another important difference. But that's perhaps also our evolution of our cultural way of exploring. In a way, we allow others to do it for us on the stage while we're sitting in the dark. And it actually, sitting in the dark in the theater allows us to feel and connect more. You know, I can cry when no one is seeing, or laugh in the audience of the theater watching someone on stage. And that, you know, it gives us a freedom as an audience. But as a child, I think this play also gives the children a great freedom and a great sense of control over the play. And it's how we use these two forms and connect them is a really interesting question that I'm always engaged in drama in education. So sorry, I'm just also trying to look at the chat here. There's a difference in intention. The actor wants to convey a story. The child doesn't have that specific purpose. Yes, that's what I was talking about. Thank you, Katrien, for bringing that in. Yeah, great. So let me move on. There are many different forms of drama, and basically Gavin Bolton, a pioneer of drama in education, he was sort of looking at what are the different forms, and he sort of breaks it down that drama in education builds up from 3 different forms. One of them is games, basically, that are not in fiction but have a structure and allow us the function, give us the function and the freedom and the joy of playing. And that's one aspect. The other is dramatic play, basically, which we just saw with the child doing this sort of improvisational free play. The third is theater that we saw on the other side, and these combine into drama in education, or classroom drama, or process drama. These are all very similar forms, or different names of similar form used in different times. Here we're using drama in education, but mostly if you meet classroom drama, that's probably the same as well. So when we're doing that, then we engage in a fictional story when we're doing drama in education. And I thought, rather than talking for another 45 minutes or preparing an elaborate lesson like Iphigenia did, I'd much more, which is fantastic. I was just watching in all. I just prepared a drama lesson. Well, it's a drama lesson in one of the previous projects. That's the material has been incorporated into the academia project. And it's an online drama lesson that I try a little part of with you, okay? If you're happy to go for that. Yvette, you surely know this one, I know. But anyway, I'll just show you an image. And I'm just really curious if you can just write into the chat the first word that comes to your mind when you look at this image. What are the first words that come to your mind? It's an image by Bernini, a statue by Bernini. What are the first words that come to your mind? Dance, violence, Hades, perspective, mythology, control, struggle, violence, power, fight, repulsion. Okay, thank you. That's really history, art, gods, education. Fantastic. Family. Oh, but we have to talk about that one. Okay. Thank you very much for your first comments. This is the statue that got me really quite engaged, and I thought I'd try to create a drama lesson around it. Okay, and I'd like to ask you to use your imagination and imagine that this statue is outdoors. It's actually in a museum, but that it's outdoors and it's in the main square of a small town in France. Okay, so it's in the central square of a small town in France, the statue. And I'm really curious what different people say about the statue when they notice it. I don't know if you've had this experience, but very often we don't see the statues around us. We just walk past them day by day. And there are some moments when we actually notice them. And I'm really curious about different people. If we were live, I would be asking you to work in small groups and create small scenes. But at this moment, we don't have the time to do that as well. And I'm not sure that everyone who is logged in is able to contribute to a small group work. So what I'd like to ask you to do is let's use the chat. And I'm really curious what a group of teenagers in this small French town would say. Oh, let's give this French town a name. What should the name be? We can bring out all our terrible cultural bias and give this French town a name that sounds French. Sarah, I see you've got an idea. You've got a town's name on your mouth, on your lips. What should the name be?
Oh, sorry. This is just from a children's TV show. It's called Dexter's Laboratory. And
Yes.
he learned a French word, omelette du fromage.
Okay.
The town of cheese omelette. Yes, omelette du fromage.
Omelette du fromage.
Yeah.
Okay, it sounds so. We're from Omelette du fromage. Okay, we are in Omelette du fromage, and this is this is the statue in our main square. You know, if teenagers notice it, what would they say about it? What would the discussion be about among teenagers when they see the statue? What would they say? Let's put it in the chat.
Silly. I mean, basically they'll be like, "Oh, it's naked," and "Oh, what's going on? The penis."
Okay. So what's this? Yeah, what's all this nakedness? And look at the penis. Oh God. Okay. Where I was putting in all sorts of text, bro. Check this, babe. Okay. What else? What sort of things would they say? Just try to think of a specific sentence they would say and write it in the chat. What would a teenager notice about it, and what would they say?
I could almost see them trying to make it, like if there's 2 or 3 of them play it. and, like sit
Aha.
like them or do whatever.
How is he doing it? So this they'd maybe grab one another and try to recreate the image. Is that what you said?
Yeah, yeah, like just mocking it, kind of, you know, and selfing with it. Probably
Aha.
selfing.
Oh, cover yourself, please. That dude is ripped. Look
I
at his
love
look
that.
on his face. He's so up to no good. Oh, his muscle, bro. Look. Ah, yeah, I can well imagine that. What about elderly people? Yeah, is that dog from a computer game? I think I played the game once. Uh-huh. What about elderly people? What would they say? You know, if it was pensioners walking, and maybe sometimes they just notice.
Well, usually it goes like, what kind of art is that? We used to have art back in the days, and this is no art, no good art anymore.
Yeah, but these modern artists, even though it's a few hundred years old, but
I'm
everything
imagining they
that's
just placed it there, right? Like it wasn't
yeah,
there when they were
yeah,
younger, so everything else is new.
yes, yes. So they would say something like that. What's this garbage? You know, this modern art is horrible. Artist himself didn't know what he meant. Hmm. Okay. Any other sentences from pensioners?
Well, if you have some that are actually well read, they probably knew the story, so they'll probably
Mm,
say something about the, oh, this is so and so, and
yeah. I mean, actually, it's Persephone and being stolen by Hades, Hades. I don't know. All the lovely Greek friends will correct my pronunciation. Okay. It reminds me of art that I'm used to. Maybe, yeah. What a beautiful creation. Mhm. Okay. One last question, and then I'll stop bothering you with such a with this image and the different perspectives on it. I'm really curious, you know, if a family was walking there, what questions would the small children ask? What would the small children ask from their parents? What would they say to their parents when they saw this statue there in the middle of the square? Hmm, what is that man doing to her? Huh? What is that? Why are they doing this? Okay. Okay. Any more questions the kids would ask? Ah. Okay. Okay. I hope you can read it. Two people were, Eva and Sarah, were thinking about asking questions as kids about the dogs' heads as well. Okay. Of course. Why don't they have clothes on? That's a question. If I have to wear clothes, at least that's what my kids used to say, you know, have say at times when they were small, not teenagers yet. Okay, thank you so much. So this is the town, and these are the sort of sentences that might be surrounding the statue in the sort of daily discourse. But I'd like to invite you into the local council. Okay, we will be playing the councillors of this town, and I will be asking you to join in role, and I will just take this, stop sharing the screen, and then we can see each other better. And what I'd like to ask you to do is to imagine that you are a person not only living in this town, Omelette de Fromage in France, which has this statue at the main square, but also that you are representing a neighborhood in this town and a group of people. You were elected into the city council, okay? And what we're going to do is we're going to step into role. We'll be using our own names. We could, you know, if we knew each other well, then we could change our names and all that. But we'll be using our own names, but still, you know, you can say which part you represent, and let's engage into a meeting. Okay. So first of all, I'd just like to ask you. We've had a long meeting for the city, and we've discussed all sorts of things and voted about all sorts of things. This meeting has been going on for more than an hour and a half. All of us have work. We don't get paid to do this. So can you just, you know, those of you have your camera on, can you make an image of what these councillors could be looking like a still image? Just hold a statue, still image, what these councillors could be looking like after 1.5 hours meeting. Okay, so I'll count back, and let's just make a still image. You're still not late to switch your cameras on if you want to share your image. 3, 2, 1, and let's hold the image. Okay, thank you so much. I'll just jump into role and start. I'll be talking. I'll be the mayor, Adam, of this town. So I know you're all tired. I can see all the tiredness on you, dear councillors. There's just one last thing. And I know we voted about the budget, and thanks for all your advice and your suggestions to make the town a better place. We've just one last thing. I really need to ask your advice on. Is that okay? It's just a letter I got from one of the teachers of the secondary school, and I don't know what to do about it. It's Miss Michelle. I think, you know what? I'm not sure what she teaches. I think is it literature? Anyway, so she just wrote to me, and what she's saying is she's saying that she's complaining about our statue at the center of the square, and she's saying it is, it's right in front where the schools children go every time, and it's really aggressive, and she's saying that it should be immediately, she's demanding that it should be immediately removed from the town square. You know the statue I'm talking about, the dog one, the doggy dog, and it's been here for many years now. It's been here for almost 40 years in our town. I don't know what to do. What do you think about this? And, she's worried about the children, but I don't know what to respond to her.
Well, I mean, okay, I can come in. I think it's important that you tell Miss Michelle that, every piece of something that we see is an educational standpoint. And we would like to look at this statue as a historic entity that brings people together. So this is both like history for the kids that will be learning something, but it could also be used like as a starting point of conversation.
Okay, so I should just tell her to back off, basically, and use it as a starting point for her educational
purposes. I think it's important that you explain to her that I understand, as maybe Miss Michelle is also got a little bit older, and she thinks the way the art is executed or put out is maybe for the young kids a little bit too sexual. It's bringing on kind of like things that they shouldn't be exposed to, but literally, I think it's important that we use any form of art or anything as a topic of discussion. So, I think you should tell her as it's a conversation starter.
Yeah, it's a start. Okay, thank you. That's really useful. I might talk about that.
Councillor, I think we should congratulate her on her
acute and active civic position, and then maybe find a scholarship for her for a short course on history of art.
Okay, so you think we should? I'm not sure if we congratulate her. Isn't that going to just make her look around and make trouble for us all the time?
No,
Or
just
do you mean it in an ironic sense? Or congratulations.
morning, but we should tell her that we appreciate active citizens and positions, but it's good to go to a course, even if short term, on a history of art.
Okay, but there's no way we're removing the statue, no?
No, no, of
So-
course,
No.
no, no.
Is
That's
the
out of
question, sorry, is the question about how to deal with Michelle or how to deal with the statue? Because I
Well,
think,
well, why? What do you think? Do we need to do something about the statue?
well, I don't think that's an issue at all. Right now, the issue is that this person has a complaint, and I think we should handle it like everything else. You know,
Yeah. Oh well.
collect evidence, see what the overall sense is.
Oh,
And
I meant
because
I
it's-
meant
this
we
is
should
just
just
one-
wait 30 days before we respond to her.
Well, I mean, it's one person complaining, like we noted it, okay, but the world doesn't revolve around this one person.
Yeah.
And the general sense about putting this probably was due to lots of council meetings, projects that were proposed, approvals that were passed through. So there were a lot of things that were put in place, and sometimes we just have to trust the good judgment of our society. We live in a society. So at this
No.
point, just an answer to her. I don't think it's even an issue to remove the statue. Or am I getting this wrong? Like, how's everybody?
Well, I'm also curious if you had heard any similar problems from anyone else, or is this an individual case of troublemaking or well, civic engagement? Sorry. Is there others who are bothered by this statue? Is the statue an issue? I mean, it's crazy what, how people get angry at things these days. So I don't know if.
Yeah, no, I've heard it both ways. Like there are some people complaining, saying it's a disgrace, and we should have something more modern, from something more somebody more famous. But then many people are actually proud of it. They say it's unique. It gives a unique face. It's a topic of a lot of talks. It's on postcards. Maybe we
Yeah.
should make a documentary about it.
Ah, that's a good idea. So it can be
like
really
that.
used for educational purposes. Okay,
It's
so
a
so
nice modern
Ah.
documentary, yeah, as a tourist attraction.
People come to see this, but they come to our city to see this.
yeah,
From all over the world. So
yes,
it's
yes. I
free
mean,
for them.
I mean-
think that's what we're famous for, the statue, that's why people come to Omladula Formange for this
Yes.
exact purpose. So we'll be losing a lot of money, we're losing a lot of tourists, so the history would be disappearing if we choose not to give it the light that it deserves.
yeah. I know, and I know your cafe is nearby as well. So I mean, you don't want to lose customers, do you? And that's really important as well to keep our city running. All the tax money coming in and the commerce, but just the tourist attraction. Okay, so we'll just need to sort of deal with this politely, you're saying, and maybe pay for a course in art history. I don't know if she'll accept that, but that sounds like a good idea. That should keep her quiet for a while. Maybe she can. We can send her to Italy or some other place.
She'll
Florence has
discover a
some
new
nice-
viewpoint. Yeah, that
Yeah.
will be a new viewpoint for her. It will be helping her career, and yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you. That's brilliant ideas. I'll try to draft a letter. Maybe I'll come back to you to ask help for that. But anyway, the statue will stay in its place. Nothing is happening with that. Okay. Thank you. Well, thank you for the meeting, for this online city councillors meeting today. We'll go on with that. Okay. thank you. Let's step out of role. I'm really curious, what you think Miss Michelle will respond when she gets this letter telling her that nothing's happening with the statue, but the city is happy to pay for a short course in art history, and we are suggesting she use the statue as an educational tool to start a discussion. How do you think this teacher will react to that? You might know a few teachers, so you might have an idea how she will feel about that.
She might try to get many parents on her side and start a movement to remove the statue.
Okay. So she might start a sort of civic movement, start collecting signatures or a petition to remove the statue. Teachers
And
do
also
have.
try to complain about your work and our work,
Okay.
not taking her serious enough.
Yeah. Okay.
But I think depending on, how she comes forward, like I also want to know what is it about the art that's bothering her so much.
So you think you're saying actually there should be a discussion first about with her rather than just a response, and actually that's what you were suggesting. But it's trying to be like a mayor, deal with stuff through letters quickly as a good politician. But you're saying actually there's a real discussion there to be had.
I think so. I mean, there's a real discussion on both ends, both on our part and on her part regarding the students and the children. So I want to know what is wrong with this statue, because I think once we have that starting point, then we can really try to meet her and see where she is mentally regarding the situation.
That's really interesting. This is not. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. I just want to say, I think there could be, like, the committee could be approaching the subject really wrong, because offering her to have a course in art history, I think is demeaning and will criticize her as a professional. She would get really pissed, I would guess. For us to handle the situation, we would probably have to do like a social media, like inform all the public of what the statue is about, all the history and everything, instead of just focusing on the one individual. We have to like look at this as a broader perspective, because if we want tourists to come to see our statue, then yeah, we have to like take it at another point bigger.
So actually there's work to be done around the statue socially and culturally in the city, rather than sort of getting rid of the teacher who is causing difficulties. And that's what anyone bringing up questions as well are making a point can be labeled as, they're just making problems. Okay.
I had one more comment though. Like, if this was serious topic, would you really leave it for the very last 5 minutes of our long meeting? Or would you, if it's serious for you as a leader, I could imagine that you call upon committee or something to do what Sarah said. Because running this an important topic at the last moment of your meeting is probably not going to bring up a lot of good suggestions. People just want to get out of here.
Yeah, why do you think the mayor, how do you think, I mean, we don't know anything, it's just a fictional town.
I'm just making it up.
But why, but why do you think a politician would leave it last?
Because it shows his attitude, which will go probably in the diminishing the problem versus solving it, like Sarah was supposing.
Yeah,
it's not on my agenda, but let's just, in between or under the, I did it, whatever, and we didn't,
Okay, so it's more about getting rid of the problem than sort of actually looking at it and trying to understand it or explore it. Good. The drama lesson in the in the resource goes in a different way, but I'm really curious about something else. And I would really like to try it out. And I don't know if either of you is happy to play this teacher, Miss Michelle. Take on her role, and maybe, you know, and maybe we could talk to her and actually ask her what she's thinking. Would any of you like to be the teacher? Eva,
Yeah.
are you happy to go for it? And I'm really asking you to take her seriously, take her point seriously, and I'm really curious what sort of questions we should be asking her. So we don't have to respond yet. Let's just collect a few questions. What sort of questions should we be asking Miss Michelle?
Probably tell her how she came about this concern, how long it's been going, or just to give some background of the story, why she's here, and to thank her for coming, of course.
First, we need to sort of thank her, of course, and ask her about why, you know, what's the background in how did this problem come about? How did she notice it, and what's bothering her really? Okay, what else? Any other questions?
What are the social problems that you think this statue is going to create for the children? Like, how do you think, why do you think this specific artwork is going to, how did you come to this conclusion? Because I feel like at this point, Miss Michelle, you're kind of projecting your own, I don't know, issues here.
Yeah, we could ask that. We could ask that. That's what sort of problems do you think it's going to create? Okay, Katrin, did you switch on because you had something to say?
Sorry, I'm experiencing some difficulty with my headphones, but I was thinking about something else. I was thinking about maybe in the end of the conversation, we could ask her if she sees any way in which a talk could be, or a conversation could be set up with the kids that is suitable to the kids' perspectives, if you know what I mean. Like, the abduction and the physical superiority that's in the statue, it's not part of their world, so they can't grasp these concepts or this story. But I think there are other things that they can talk about.
Okay.
So I would try to take her in the story, and I would try to make her feel very skilled in sort of perceiving what's suitable for these kids to talk about.
Okay, can we try to do that? Eva said she'll be playing Miss Michelle, and would you be happy, Katrin, to start on that? You said, you know, we have to. It's really important how we begin, how we sort of frame her. Would you be happy to go? And then we can all join in with our questions.
I can try. I have my daughter with me here, but I'll try.
It's fine. It's fine. I'm sure she can come in with some questions as well.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Miss Michelle, thank you so much for joining us. I'm really grateful because this is an important discussion, and we have some questions and comments for you.
It is, of course. Thank you for inviting me. It is important. You know, I'm worried. So thank you very much for the opportunity to be here.
So,
what did you want to ask? Or do you want me to tell you what is the problem? I wrote it in the letter, but I can tell it again.
Yes. Yeah. No, we have some specific questions and comments as well. And my colleague here, Katrin, would like to say us a few words.
Yeah. So Michelle, we were wondering if you could tell us something about the problems that you experienced. What exactly made this come about? What happened so that you resorted to writing us a letter?
Oh, well, you see, I'm not probably as well educated as you all are, and I'm young, but we go there with children almost every day, and they talk about the boobies and why the guy doesn't have the pants, and also why is he hurting her, and they ask questions. And I'm trying to talk about domestic violence and male and female anatomy. I even try to talk about history and myths, but they're too young and they keep on asking questions. And then I try to explain the best I can, but then I had some complaints from parents because they said they're not happy for me talking to their small kids about, anatomy, biology, hurting women because they think he hurts her, and things like that. These are really uncomfortable questions that I have to answer almost daily. And also, it is not about me being prepared to answer the questions. It is about how parents react, and that this distracts children too much. I understand art, but maybe this is not the place for a statue. Maybe this statue, I know it is important for our small town, but it has a better place in a museum or in a gallery, not on the main square. It's just not appropriate.
Thank you, Michelle. I think we understand that it must be quite difficult. Anyway, my colleagues and friends here have some more questions for you. If anyone wants to come in with a question.
It's not just me. There are many teachers like me.
Oh, I see. Are there others as well who are? Please.
Okay. So Michelle, how can we help you? I mean, basically, I feel like, I would like to keep the statue here. I feel like it yields so many things. There's so many learning points that the children, can learn. It's a very good, good conversation starter. I mean, of course, there's the boobies. I get that. Kids will be kids. They will always say some stuff. But personally, for me, I look at this statue as a great conversation starter for the kids to learn so many things, not only about the body, but about movement, about family, about art. So there's so many ways of, teaching the kids. Am I sensing that you are perhaps having difficulty finding methods to educate the children?
No, it's not about my educational methods. The kids are too young, and they come from different backgrounds, and for some of them this nudity is unacceptable on a family level. They don't talk in their family about nudity and about what a naked man and naked woman might do. So it's not my place to start telling them that. They're just too young.
Okay, I see.
So some of the kids said, let's dress them up. So I don't know if you think this is a solution. Put a t-shirt and some pants on the statue. Make it more, modern.
Okay, I like that approach. I like, perhaps as a country, as Omlodu, maybe we can have an occasion where in the winter we dress the statue up so that they're warm, seasonal dressing. But at the same time, I would like to discuss the nudity. We have to, I understand that there's different cultures of children coming in, so there's different cultures and kids are learning different things. But what is important is when we move or emigrate to a specific country, we must respect the culture that is there. So we have to educate the children correctly. We have to enroll the children correctly so that, of course, they can still embed their own culture, but also understand the culture of the country that they have moved to. And our culture here is art and presenting this kind of art form.
I agree.
From my understanding, Michelle is also saying that maybe we need to educate or sort of engage with the parents as well, not only the children. Yes. So it's for the parents to understand, this form of art. I mean, yeah, it's interesting.
So do you think it might help if we have family nights around the actual problematic, which is
around
not
the statue?
Yes, and we had people that would tell the story in a different way. Sometimes they have a way to present to kids and to parents and kind of do that.
I think it will actually help very much if we have like a square theater where the legend is presented, so that all the families know the story behind it. So it continues to be a naked man squeezing a naked woman, because this is what it is for kids and for their families. But maybe if I don't teach all the kids. I can ask some of my colleagues if they can make a theater on the square about with the legend, with the story, and then we invite everybody, and maybe then the parents will know more, because it really causes me problems, and I don't want to be the bad one. I've been told
that's a fantastic idea. Maybe we can ask also the cafe to offer some free drinks for that evening to people coming to see it. Okay, thank you.
Do we have a drama teacher in our school for all the kids?
No, we'll have to bring one from Lyon, a drama teacher, or maybe even further away. Anyway, sorry. Thank you. I'm just worried about the time, so I'll just stop. But thank you so much, Eva, for taking on this role, and thank you for all of you for joining in. I'll stop here. You'll have a look at, you can see this drama lesson, and it actually goes in a different direction. We work on different narratives, what happens with the statue when people do that. But I only did this to sort of ask the question, to engage in some play, but also to ask the question, what difference does it make if we engage with a topic, an issue, a problem in role? Is that different? And if yes, in what way is it different than if we just talk about it as ourselves?
Well, putting ourselves in the shoes of the other person sometimes might even be an opposite view of what we have is very challenging. It's stretching our souls and understanding. So it is, and also it might be an easier way to say, oh, that wasn't me. It was the roles, when you don't have the courage to be yourself. So both ways, I think it's good.
So
Yes.
it also gives us some freedom, so we can also say things that we don't mean, or we can say things that we mean but are hard to express and sort of contested, but it allows us to sort of test them out in some way, and still talk about that. Okay, that's really useful to say. What else?
Also, when we talk on behalf of somebody, we usually use logic, rational argumentation. But then when we play it, actually, we also engage in emotions, and that gives a whole new level of understanding the other perspective. It also might happen that our opinion slightly changes because of adding emotions to the cognition, to the rational.
I mean, here we were in a very surface level of a role, quite superficial, but even talking to Miss Michelle as a live person and not talking about her made a real difference, I think. So there's a different kind of engagement in her problem and the issue she's raising. Yvette, did you want to say something?
Yeah, we are more involved when we have a role, I think. So we have more emotions.
Okay. It's more playful. It's more we have more emotions, and it's a different kind of engagement. We can take new perspectives on, and sort of experiment, explore positions. And I think this is really central, and this is sort of what we aim for in drama in education, and sort of explore very simple ways of getting into role, but also more complex ways in different contexts. It really depends on the context. And it also depends on the group and the age group. So I think that's really that's a really useful way of doing it. I'll just very shortly skip back to my PowerPoint and this image okay. Yeah, I see it's on. So actually, when what our theory in drama in education is that when we are actually enroll in the safety of the fiction, then we are actually, through exploring others, we are also looking at and focusing on the human situations, usually in sort of a situation or a context-based situation, using our imagination, experiencing things and challenging, facing some sort of challenging situations, demanding questions. That actually, when we are engaged in this fiction, we are also exploring ourselves, because we are positioning ourselves, trying things out, getting to know ourselves, our own feelings, and all of that. And also, I mean, we're looking at sort of, these are the key elements that we think about in with drama in education, and we use a lot of different conventions or activities or tasks, but actually these are any cultural forms. So, you know, for example, I very often ask, what's the, you know, even with this statue, what would the graffiti be that's written on the statue or on the base, which is a basic cultural form to condense meaning, or, you know, if the city put a plaque on it, what would they say about the statue on this plaque? Again, we are trying to use a form that's been an accepted cultural form of expressing thoughts, but also using it in this fictional story to convey meaning. And there are all sorts of different forms of this, which can be written or verbal or situation-based or visual as well. And of course, very many of them can be enactive, actually doing something. We'll be exploring these further in Florence when we'll be meeting with a different story. And, you know, it's this presentation has a sort of, I've collected some of the theoretical grounding, theoretical thoughts about what's the use of working in role. But you've been talking about these, and one of the things I used, it was teacher in role when I was talking as the mayor, and these has different forms as well. Hot seating, for example, that's quite close to what Michelle was doing. I could have done it as, you know, I could have been Michelle, and I could have brought in the perspective. And even if that's all we do in a classroom, we can talk to a soldier from Napoleon's army, or we can talk to the teacher in role as someone trying to get on a boat, which is crossing from Turkey to Greece as a refugee. That really changes the game, and it allows you to bring in completely different perspectives and the human aspect of any problem, any historical age, any literary piece of work, and so on. You'll find these resources, and this drama lesson itself for us from the Antigone project about gender-based violence that we engaged in, and you can find a lot of drama lessons there. But all these resources you will find on the website when you will be looking at the material from this course. So basically, this is what I wanted to share, and of course it's quite complex and not such a direct or straightforward methodology as many of the educational methodologies that you'll be engaging with in the academia project. But it's actually a very creative form that can be really used and in an artful way, so you can really experiment with it yourself as a teacher. So that's all I wanted to share for now. If you have, you know, it's 6 o'clock, but if you have any last questions or thoughts, you can say them or put them in the chat, and we can engage with that in person later. So thank you very much for your engagement.